So I did a debate. Michael Knowles, the Daily Wire right-wing commentator, has a show called A Bar Fight, and I've done it before, and it's a really interesting idea where you can see on screen here, there's like a stage and a desk up in a bar, and then a bar full of audience members who are Michael Knowles fans are all there. And so last time I had a debate partner and we did a normal debate. This one was going to be all about Iran. And they ended up booking Dan Crenshaw, who just the night before we did the debate lost his primary election. So he's coming in a very interesting context. And then Michael Knowles. So then it turned out to be, and this is, I love this more than anything, I was the only liberal, probably other than my producer Jaden, who was there, in the entire establishment. So you have like 50 audience members maybe. They're all Michael Knowles fans or right wing for the most part. And then you have a Republican congressman who I'm debating, and the audience members can go up to the mic and debate, and then Michael Knowles who I'm debating. So it was like me v 50, and that sounds like, oh gosh, why would you agree to that? I love it, because then I'm only responsible for what I'm doing in my debate. And as opposed to sometimes when they try to balance it, they go, oh, there's going to be two right-wingers, so we'll give you debate. But then you kind of have to balance like them talking and what points are they going to make, and do you agree with the argumentation path they're taking down? And it ended up being quite the wild ride. Once the episode gets released, I'll obviously cover the different moments. We debated Iran. Crenshaw and Knowles were taking the pro-war. I was taking the anti-war stance that you've heard me outlining on the show. And this, unless I'm forgetting something in a wild fashion, is the first time I've had a debate with an elected Republican. Now, I went to the spin room and like confronted, I do apologize for, maybe don't send any comment screenshots until I take down these photos. Spin room came up to a few elected officials, Lindsey Graham, Vivek Ramaswamy, or he wasn't elected by that point, or some others. But that was like quick 1 minute conversations. This was a over an hour discussion. And so honestly, I was a little nervous going in, because that's a very different setting. Not only the crowd being against me, but the host being against me, and then having a Republican congressman who has an axe to grind because he just lost his election. And I thought it went pretty darn well. But then, now you can take that down, Jaden. Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video. One cool aspect, I'll just show this now, was that after, we'll skip to the end and I'll tell you all these things that happened in between, including a guy who was supposed to get booked, showing up belligerent, angry that he had been cut from the show, and like, now he's been posting screenshots with the Daily Wire booking staff and being vicious apparently behind the scenes to them. And he was standing outside and like security was trying to get him away as Dan Crenshaw was leaving. And I was like, hey, where's my security? And Jaden was my security. But one positive aspect is sort of after the debate, Dan and Michael got ushered off by the staff and security. I was like, oh no, that's fine. I'm going to go talk to the crowd members. And so you have all these people who the whole night have been screaming at me and weren't supportive of me because they're obviously pro-Trump. But then I got to go up to so many of them, probably like a dozen, and talk to them and show them, hey, it's okay. I understand we come from different views, but we can respectfully articulate that. And then you even had a guy like posting this on social media saying, can't believe I sided with Luke Beasley tonight, but when you're right, you're right. And he was agreeing, sympathizing with my we shouldn't be doing a regime change war in Iran argument. So that was positive. Okay, so now you can take that down and let me kind of walk you through the night a little bit more chronologically. The background for this was pretty notable. So originally they said, hey, you might be doing this bar fight with yourself and Adam Mockler versus Michael Knowles. And I was like, heck yeah, that'd be fun. And then scheduling didn't work. So then they're like, okay, Adam's not, but we might pull in a different right winger, this guy named Alex Stein, who since last night has been going berserk over the fact that he wasn't allowed to come to the event. He gets booked because Dan Crenshaw, who had been booked originally, the Republican congressman, was like, I have an election and I have to go actually to a vote. But then he lost his election. So then the morning of the event, he reaches out and is like, actually, F it, I'll come. But Alex Stein, this right-wing influencer, and Dan Crenshaw are mortal enemies. So the Daily Wire staff knew it wasn't going to be fair to Dan Crenshaw, who they would prefer because he's much more high profile, to have to be on the same stage with Alex Stein. Plus, then you would have just all right wingers, even though Alex Stein was going to take the anti-war side of the argument. Still, it would end up just being a very strange dynamic. So they cut Alex Stein. He's really upset. I'm going, and I learned the morning of. I'm already here, and I learned it's going to be me versus Dan Crenshaw versus Michael Knowles versus the crowd. And I was like, oh, this just got so much better. And so then show up. Dan arrives like right as the event's about to start. We do the debate. I'll show those clips later. Afterwards, go out in the crowd. As I showed you, talk to people. A lot of them ended up saying, I had one guy say that he really hates my views, but he just can't stop watching the show. And I was like, that's an interesting compliment. He said he just really likes the way that I talk, even though he doesn't like what I'm saying when I'm talking. That's very fascinating. All right. So I appreciated that. And then I go to the kind of exit where Dan Crenshaw and Michael Knowles are. And I'm like, hey, are we going out? Because that's like the exit. And they're like, well, outside you have this guy, Alex Stein, who's filming and screaming and like, Dan, come out here. Because even though they're both right wing, Alex Stein and Dan Crenshaw have some huge beef. So then I'm thinking, hey, I'm being silly here, but don't worry about the security. I'll go talk to him. So I'm like, Jaden, let's go. And they're like, no, we don't. You probably shouldn't go out there. He's being really belligerent. So then I do, thinking, okay, he's not going to get Dan. They're just not going to let that happen. They're going to bring him out of a different exit or something, or they're going to have security all around him. You're not going to get talked in. But like, you could talk to me. You were booked before to debate with me, so you could. His phone was out. I was like, debate with me. It'd be fun. He was not interested at all, and was like, no, I just want to talk to Dan Crenshaw. So then we finally leave. All right, that didn't work. We go walking down Broadway, which is where the event was, in Nashville. And like, picture this. So we just had this crazy big spike of adrenaline because of the event itself, this whole live crowd vibe. It was being streamed live for Daily Wire members. It was a pretty heated debate. I was the only one representing my viewpoint. And so then I'm already kind of like, whoa. And then Alex Stein's out there, is chaotic. And then we're walking and literally just look across the street, and there's a woman being like yanked by her arm by this guy and screaming. So then Jade and I are like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And we hear people running up, shouting at them like, stop, take your hands off her. So then we run over, separate them. This guy who's, I guess that woman was his girlfriend, but was like assaulting her, was like yanking her arm, trying to drag her as she was resisting. So then physically, Jade and I have to push him away from this woman. And then like kind of a crowd's developing. Stop, get away. And the police get called. The guy then directs all of his anger at us, because I was like, anytime he would try to get closer to her, I would step in front of him. And so then he's like, shoves me. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And Jade and I have been reflecting on this. Like, is that the moment we should have just taken a swing? I just felt like that until he took a swing, I didn't want us to, but I also know me and Jaden versus him, like, we're good. But he did shove. I was like, so he did shove. But then I was like, hey, just trying to keep him away, because I knew the police were coming long enough for the police to deal with it. And he's like, I'll take you both on, like threatening. Keeps lunging, trying to like grab his girlfriend. Ultimately, the police get there. We have to walk him near forcibly to the police. Then they take over, and then we leave. And it was, what? I mean, what a crazy night. And then I wake up to Alex Stein posting. So he posted this 3 hours ago. This is who was supposed to be me versus Alex versus Michael, but they replaced Alex with Dan Crenshaw. And Alex was going to do something else with the Daily Wire crew tomorrow. So it wasn't like he came here for nothing. It just, Dan wasn't okay with going to the event if Alex Stein was going to be there. You'll see why. I mean, with all my I literally debated for an hour plus with Dan Crenshaw last night. Don't agree with him and have a bunch of problems with his stances. But Alex Stein is heinous in the stuff that he'll say about Dan Crenshaw, and Alex is extremely radical. So he posted this at the airport. Like, this is all just I'm just like little old me and Jade, and I'm like, oh, okay, we'll go do a debate. And all of a sudden it becomes a Republican congressman who's huge in the news right now because he had this upset election where he lost. And then this guy shows up, security's getting involved. They're having to do special ways to remove Dan. And then an assault's happening. We had to get involved there. Like, what a crazy series of events. And so this is Alex Stein posting that he's mad at the Daily Wire crew.
I just had the absolute worst trip in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, I guess I've had worse trips than this one, but it was bad. I'll get into it later. I don't know if I got to post all the receipts and I got to call out the Daily Wire, but I think I have to. I don't want to because I love Ben Shapiro and I love Israel so much, so I don't really want to have to flame the Daily Wire, but just a horrible experience working with these people. Just horrible. Just wait till you hear the story. I don't even know if I should tell the story. These people are just, I mean, white trash. You know, you would think that they'd have some class. Low class. Daily Wire is not a good organization.
So Alex has, obviously, I don't agree at all with the Daily Wire's like politics, but I've now dealt with the staff for Noel's show a couple times for this bar fight, and they're nothing but great in how they coordinate and what they set up for you and booking your travel and just kind of the food before and how comfortable they make everything. Like, the actual dealings are totally professional, unlike some shows, by the way. Piers Morgan. Okay, not all staff and booking people are fun to work with. The Noel's crew actually is. So all he's talking about, I won't show it because it's just like low character. He's posting screenshots of emails with the booker and with one of Michael Knowles' producers, text messages, which is sending a bunch of hate their way. All they were saying was, hey, we booked you. We're going to give you per diem. We're going to give you money. Go out tonight. Have a good time. We'll still do the other show we're going to do tomorrow with you, which is good exposure for Alex because he's not really that relevant. And we just can't have you at the bar fight. Sorry, it happens. Like, that just happens in showbiz. Sometimes you get bumped because a bigger name filled your place. Luke Beasley. No. Dan Crenshaw. And so, of course, they're going to take a Republican congressman who's nationally in the news for losing a major election. And someone asked in the comments, did Dan seem sad? Yeah, he definitely seemed sad. I mean, he just lost his election. It was very devastating. I was shocked that he went to do an event the day after. But, of course, they're going to pick him over you, but they're still being perfectly kind to you. And then Alex was like, well, just let me come to the event and confront him on one of the mics. Like, he doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be one of the contestants, if you want to call it that, but he can come up to the mic and do an audience question, which is a part of the show. And they're like, no, sorry, like Dan's crew just doesn't want you because you've been an enemy of Dan's for a long time. And so then this is where it's been posted publicly. So it's sort of private information, but I guess I'm not the one publishing it. This has already been published. Alex Stein posted this video. I confronted Dan Crenshaw about his election loss and he ran away like a baby. Okay. And so then you have, this is what Alex was doing whenever we walked out the door to see if we could help the team, the crew, get him far enough away so that Dan could leave.
Dan, I bet you didn't see that loss coming, Dan, did you see that loss coming? Crenshaw, you took the L. Hey, Crenshaw, you took the L. Did you see that coming? I know you only got one eye, Cyclops. You lost. Did you do a good job?
So then you put text on the screen that says gay eye patch. So once again, I was debating Crenshaw all night. And you can stand for the principle of respect as well. And to make fun of his injury and losing vision in one of his eyes while he was serving as a Navy SEAL is just disgusting. That's just disgusting. I don't care that Alex Stein was also going to take the anti-war view. That's disgusting. And this is the type of maniac that was out there as we were trying to leave.
Hey, Dan, great job on your election, brother. You're a loser. got your ass, Dan. You're a loser. Great job, dude. Are you scared? Is that why you're walking away?
He has kind of that sociopath face, you know, where he's, even when he's mad, Alex Stein, even when he's mad, he's smiling. Weird. I'm so angry at the Daily Wire crew. Hey, Dan, you're a loser. It's like, oh, dude, you're kind of a weirdo. So my situation was, I walked down, well, let me see if I could talk to him. Maybe that would, I kind of just wanted to debate him. I thought maybe he was just wanting to confront anyone. But it could also help to distract him, and then y'all can get Dan out, because it's just causing a whole debacle. And we wanted to go drink, so I was trying to get this thing moving. And so I walk out there. He has no interest, but then his vibe was like, rah, rah. He wasn't even, his eyes were like not looking at either of us. It was weird. So then I just turned around and walked back in where the crew was, and was like, okay, nope, you're right. That guy's crazy. I don't know what you're gonna do. But to their credit, the way they're not like shoving him, I think is really smart, because he got up really close, and this is private property, and you could justifiably like physically remove him, but they didn't. Very smart, because that's exactly what Alex wanted. He wanted a security guard to manhandle him so that that's his viral video. And instead, all he got was him screaming about the eye patch of a veteran. Now, you want to criticize Dan? Great. I did. And I actually was the one debating with him, confronting him. But you make it about his injury? Oh, so you're a moron then. Because especially if you want to levy substantive criticisms of his time in office or of his stances or him advocating for war, you lose any credibility you have on that among rational people. I saw people were hyping up Alex, but those are like lunatics who just get off on any controversy. Among rational people, you lose all credibility when you make it about that. And even like as an example, during our debate, I was like, I respect the heck out of your service, appreciate it so much, and can still say, I still don't believe that you're correct about this. You're citing your service as a way that you have extra experience to inform your stance on this topic. And I'm saying I respect your experience and your service and still think you're wrong. Like that's how you can do it, obviously. But instead, you have freaks who turn our political discourse into just kind of like bully behavior and low IQ, low intelligence, low character name calling, and that just ruins it for everyone. And it works, and those clips go viral. This video already has 13,000 likes on Twitter, but it's nothing. There was no substance. And then now, Alex, I guess, is going to war with the Daily Wire. So I share all that with you. I'm excited to show you the clips of me taking on Dan Crenshaw and Michael Knowles and then people of the crowd. One guy went up to the mic and was like, why don't you shut the F up? And I was like, ow, so we're playing this game, sir. And then by the end of, then we have a back and forth that was funny. And then I walk out in the crowd and we have a great conversation. And so there's so many fun things I can't wait to show you once the episode comes out. But today I wanted to talk about it before then because of how many non-debate relevant things happened that were notable. Unlike the last one that was a typical, you show up, you do a debate, you leave, it was cool, you and then later I'll play the clips. In this case, it was like I was placed in the midst of a much broader story and controversy. Crenshaw showing up right after an election loss, this now rivalry or clash between Daily Wire and Alex Stein, and then all these security elements. Oh, whoops. Kind of a crazy thing to be plopped in the middle of.